Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. Now, if you watched the previous video or two ago, I bought a Dake hydraulic shop press. And Dake equipment has been known for years for high quality, top standards. They're just a company made right here in Grand Haven, Michigan, which is about 20 minutes from where I'm at. So I ordered a Dake $555 shop press, and it was a tabletop model. You've seen it, hopefully, if you watched the video. Well, they were bought out by another company, and now all that stuff is made in China. Just another piece of crap. There was more wrong with that thing than I could count. I thought about taking it apart, taking the upright rails to the shop and boring the holes out so they were absolutely straight all the way through and both sides were equal as far as being in the same plane. Well, I figured, well, heck, if I gotta do all that work to a shop press, I might as well get myself a $100 shop press and have to fix it. So I sent that one back. So we'll see what this one looks like. We're gonna unbox it and try to put it together. Now the box, most of the reviews I read, the box came and half the parts were missing. Well, that doesn't really mean the box fell apart and I lost the parts. You probably never got them in the first place. So let's open this piece of crap up and see what we ended up with for $125. Every time I look at these online, the price goes up. It was a $98 press. They got enough tape on it. The only problem is it's crappy tape. It's not this nylon reinforced stuff like we use. This is just, looks like Scotch tape. And if you know me, I hate orange. Guess what color this thing is? Just to let you know how much I hate orange, I totally rebuilt an Aaron's snowblower about 22 years ago, and it's the only Aaron's snowblower that's red. I still have it. And there's my boss. That was the boss said it's time for lunch. So I ran over and ate and I'm back. So let's see if we can put this thing together, huh? Well, that don't look too bad. Most of these are the table. This is the goes this way and the jack sits here, and most of these rods are on an angle about like that. I mean, I think they really need to, I don't know. It's just Chinese crap, what can you say? But if I have to rebuild this one, at least I don't have $555 into it. Oh boy, bunch of bolts. Of course, they're all metric. Pins, couple springs. I don't know what half this stuff is. This must not be powder coat because I don't know how you can get a run in powder coat. I think that's impossible. Well, they must just spray these things or something. all the pieces out of this box. Put that over there. Okay, that's interesting. Some of that good Chinese tape. Guess I don't need to keep any of this stuff because we're not sending this one back. We'll just fix it. Wow. There's that great jack that everybody tells me leak like crazy. We'll see what that one does. Okay. This is the brand. Like I said, this was like 125 bucks. And I'm sure by now they're a lot more than that. Must be every time they actually sell one, they raise the price. Okay. We'll carefully read the directions, and that's good. Open this thing up. All right. Now we need some metric tools. Oh, probably need a couple wrenches too. Grab a few. Oh, we missed one. throw all that stuff down on the floor and get it on my way. Okay. Put the feet on. I'm kind of curious on how well this fits. A little bit of slop there, huh? Oh yeah. So. Looks like the erector set I had when I was a kid. Let's see. I don't see any lock washers. Oh, there's a couple for the feet. This is almost as bad as watching paint dry, isn't it? Well, at least this one's got braces on it so it don't wobble as bad. Well, they gave me enough lock washers for one side, not for the other. Well, I guess it could be worse. They could have shorted me the bolts. I don't know. I kind of think lock washers are way overrated anyway. Now, showed on the directions, putting all the bolts through from the outside in. So when you want to lower the table down, you can't use the bottom hole because it hits the bolt. So if I ever want to use that bottom hole, I'm going to have to turn these bolts around and put them through the wrong way. Okay, now gotta put that on. I guess I don't have to worry about lock washers. I don't have any more. Don't feel bad if you want to hit fast forward. Feel free. I probably would also. These two down here. And two more braces. Wonder how many bolts and nuts I'll be short. Got a buddy that does powder coating. Maybe I'll take this thing over there and have it made black or something. I don't know. Whoa, you want to knock the light out. Now this could be interesting. Yep, this could be really interesting. I think this is definitely a two-person job. Might as well forget about them lock washers. Okay, I put the brace on the other leg. That was kind of wobbly, but we got that bolted together. It's together. Now we got to put this headpiece on that holds, that your jack pushes against. And that takes 4 bolts. these lovely lock washers. I don't know if you've ever used Chinese lock washers, but they're not worth a crap. You tighten the bolt up, tighten up, and the lock washer ends up just straightening out, and it falls off. But hey, we'll put them on. Now that other one I bought was a bench top unit. This is supposed to be a full-size press. Well, apparently the Chinese people are a lot shorter than we are, because the press we have down at the shop that's 45 years old comes up to about here on me. So I guess, I don't know, maybe they're only this tall. Could be that the kids that are putting this together, building these, are only this tall, and to them this is full size. Something like that, I don't know. Well, now we need a little bit bigger socket. These things are so close that you can't even get a wrench on them. I guess I need a 22. We'll try that. Lovely lock washers starting to slip out. Okay, now we'll turn this a little bit. Maybe drop this down. As you can see, I still have my saber in here that I got to get rid of. Let's check something just for the heck of it. Let's see how square these are. Well, they're not bad. Better than that last one. Okay, now I put these springs in here. And we'll try to get this in here. Come on. Got plenty of movement on that, huh? Now, one thing I like about this, I can't believe I said that, your table is not welded like this is into a one piece. You have to put these on in separate pieces without dropping it on your foot, and you bolt it together. So that way, if you got a little rock, you can tighten this up and it won't rock. It'll be solid. I did kind of like that part. That does make the table solid. That's a plus. Now if we can get this jack in here. They show that just flopping right in there with no problem. I think I'm going to get me a couple of clamps. I'll be right back. Okay, I heard one of you guys. You were out there yelling, Jim, do this. I had a brainstorm. I'm going to use my little jack, because I can get that in there. We're going to put it, center it the best we can, because we don't want that to come flying out of there. And then we're going to jack this thing up or down, whatever way you want to call it. I did read in some of the reviews the jack was extremely hard to get in and you needed 2 people. Well, I got me a couple dead men here. We're going to put that one in there like that. Now you got to have the T on the top because there's a hole here. That's not solid. So we'll get that in there. This one fell out. We'll put that one back in there. May have to hold it. We'll release this jack. And hopefully that doesn't come flying out of there. Now we can set this jack right in here with no problem. And we'll just jack this one up to get the boards out. Now, wasn't that easy? Voila. Now, is it going to be any good? I'll have to play with it for a few days and see how this works out. But I do my little square. Let's see how square the rim is to the plates. that little square isn't little enough. Tipped a little bit to the right. But I don't know if it's the RAM or if these things aren't parallel with each other. Well, that don't look bad. It's about a 1/16 of an inch down on this side. So we'll try a trick that I heard when I was watching a video on the Dake press. They told me they had a video on how to assemble it, and they said in that video to put everything together loosely and take your ram and come down and push on this plate. They said that should square everything up. We'll give it a shot. What have I got to lose? And when I come back with the next video or the conclusion of what I think of this, I'll tell you how that worked. But that's it. For what I'm doing, it's probably going to be fine. I did buy another tool. I might as well show you that because it's related to this thing. Now, one of the guys at the shop, I was helping him put new bearings, races, and seals in his brother's boat trailer hubs. And just happens to be the same guy that owns this lawnmower. And doing it on our lunch hour, and I was kind of hurrying. And when it went to come time to press in, let me drop this down. When it came time to press in the seals on the back of the hubs, I just used a piece of probably 1.25 inch wide flat stock, and I centered it to push this in with. This isn't the one, this is one of the old ones. And it, first one went in fine, pressed right in, flat, flush. The second one, it pressed in, and this one side bent up. So we moved the bar over and carefully pushed, and it went down, and it looked good. But I said, you know, we just can't do that when you're working on somebody's machine. So I bought some pushers. These are made for installing bearings and seals. Now, to install bearings, I like to make my own pushers. Let me grab one here somewheres. This is one I made for installing. You see the big recess in there. That's so it does not push on the inner race. Now, these happen to be the fender bearings for a Tough Series machine. And I make these with this boss sticking out that fits in the bearing. That way I know it's lined up and it's not going to cause a problem. these I will use more or less for the seals. I don't know which one fits the best on here. They're all numbered. $63 doesn't look too bad. If you hold that up, you're going to be mostly pressing on the outside edge. Let's see what a 64 looks like. They're all numbered. That's so if you open this thing upside down, and you've all done that, and they all fall out on the floor, you'll have an easier time putting them where they belong. Don't lie to me. I know some of you guys out there have done them. This one fits much better. Especially if you buy one of these socket sets from Sears, or they all sell them now, and all the little sockets are in little, and they don't snap in. These snap in pretty solid. And you've opened them up upside down right after you got them all put in there, and they fall all over the place. Now that is not speaking from experience. Well, maybe I did it once. But this is just a cheap little set. For what it's used for, it's plenty good for pressing in bushings. Bearings, I don't know. You get this little bar here snapped in that goes into each one of these, so you can, I think that's made to pound on, but please, if you're putting in bearings, don't pound on them. That does not do the bearing any good at all. So like I said, I'll let you know what I think of this thing. Well, I can let you know what I think of it right now. I don't have to use it. This thing is way too loose. This cannot, I'm going to put a clamp on here and pull these things in straight because they're flared out a little bit. And then I will make some nylon pads to put in here to keep this from rocking. Keep it centered so it's pushing straight down. This is going to be a problem. I don't know, maybe I don't have the jack in there centered. You would think that jack would be drilled and bolted in so it don't, I mean, you get that pushed all the way down, I'd hate like heck to have that thing slide out of there. That'd make an awful racket. So that's it for today. I guess it don't look bad outside of it's orange, and that's just terrible. That should be illegal. Work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long. Well, I'm back sooner than I thought. I did a little work to this press. I took it to work yesterday, and by the way, today is Sunday, Mother's Day 2023, and all the mothers, I hope you have a great day. I hope your husbands get off their couch and give you a hand with all them dishes. I took this to work yesterday, and this is not completely square with this. And the way it's welded in there and the size of this thing, you're not going to straighten it. You'll do more damage than good. I tried to do a video, but we've got some machines with loaders and they were running and I couldn't shut the air compressor off. We got a new 40 horse screw and it just makes a loud humming noise. It's better than the hammering noise our old piston used to make, because that was just terrible. This is much better, believe it or not. So I took this to work and I laid this surface where the jack sits on the table of a mill and I clamped it down. Which this is not completely flat. It rocked a little bit. I took this post, or ram, or whatever you want to call it, and I machined the bottom of it off square with the plate, or as best I could get it. And then I drilled and tapped a hole in the bottom. Now you're probably asking, why would you do that? Well, this is what I'm going to be using most of the time. It's just a short piece. It has a set screw brazed in the end of it, because that's easier than turning this down and single point threading it. And that screws right up in here. That way, when I press something, I won't hurt the hole I have drilled and tapped in the bottom of this pin. Now, for doing other projects, I made some other pushers. This one goes in here. Well, let's do this one first. This one I drilled and reamed a hole in the bottom, and it has a set screw. Now, you've all seen me put bearings and bushings using my drill press. And I get hollered at every time I do that. Well, this hole will accept the ends of them pushers I made for the bearings and bushings. It'll go up in here instead of in the chuck, and I can lock it in with this little set screw that's on the side of it. Now, the other one I made is just a solid bottom, and it's to, if I have to get down inside of something, that's what I got that for. Now, after machining this bottom off, it brought this thing right into square. I can't believe how square this is. It's just, I won't say it's perfect, but on the end of this 4-inch scale, there is less than a I would say a 2 or 3 thousandths gap up at the top. I was totally amazed. I'm totally amazed. It is, and I don't know if you know anything about angles or tapers, but whenever if you have something that's a little bit out of square, the farther the distance you go, the worse it gets. So after adding this, I don't even know how long that is. That's about 4 inches, 4 1/4. That will really show up any problems that you have by putting that in there. Now this rattling, that just, and it doesn't seem to hurt anything. Apparently with the jack sitting in the right position, if I push the jack back, it'll pull this thing forward. So, and I got the springs probably a little tighter than they should be. I don't know. There's a gap between each coil. That really seems to tighten that up quite a bit compared to what it was the other day. But you know me, you got to try to make something better, or what's the point? Now, I don't know what I'm going to make these out of. When I make them, the original, well, these are the original ones. When I make them permanent, let's say that, but these I made out of a piece 2x6. And they just slide right up in here. I just got a piece of duct tape holding them in. When I make the permanent ones, I'll anchor them either with screws or something better than duct tape. But hey, it's holding them in. And I get both of these things in here. And it takes all the movement out of it completely. It goes side to side a little bit, but hardly any movement front to back. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave the wooden ones in there. Who knows? The handle, this is a real jewel here. This impresses me about as much as the rest of the press does, but they got this handle with the slots in it for the valve to lower it or raise it, whatever direction you want to call it. The only problem is the pipe is too big around and it'll only catch one side and it just flops around on there. So we're going to make another handle because Lord knows I'll never need anything this long. Typically these jacks are about as cheap as you can get. If it says 12 ton, you might get 3 or 4. I think that's why they give you a handle this long, so you can get a little more leverage on it. I've been using it a little bit, and the handle from my old jack works just fine. It's plenty long. Come on, I'm just going to be pressing in bearings. I mean, if you can't press a bearing in with a handle this size, you're doing something wrong. Now, I showed you earlier in this video these discs that I bought to press in bushings and seals with. Tomorrow I think I'm going to make another pusher, make another one of these, probably make it this long. It'll have the threaded insert in it, and I'm going to turn this end down so this will slide on there. And otherwise, that handle that comes with it, if you use that and you're pounding on it, how do you know you have it straight when it goes in? And it's really easy to mess up a seal. I mean, I did. I lucked out. We got it in, it straightened out, and it is working. But all it takes is to mess up one of them, and now I got to go buy another $12 seal. This whole set was like $46. I mean, yeah, they're probably not the highest quality, and they're probably machine crappy, but they don't really look that bad for the price. So we'll give them a shot, see what happens. I just sold my Blanchard grinder, so if they're not flat enough or parallel, I can't fix them now. I could have threw the whole set on the grinder and flattened them all out in one shot, but what do you do? So that's it for now. I'm tearing apart another snapper, and I'll even spin you around. There it is. What's left of it. I got that tore apart, and I'll be putting new bearings in the fenders because they are bad. It didn't get into the steel on the fender. It didn't go all the way through the bushing. So I lucked out there. I picked this up in Shelby, Michigan, I think. Some guy had it for sale online, and he said there was something wrong with the engine. It won't start. So I get up there and I look at it. Of course, if you know what you're looking for, side of a Briggs & Stratton, where the electric starter is, you look just behind that, and there's a big hole. It threw the rod, and that's right where it always comes out. On every one I've tore apart, comes out and makes a hole right behind the starter. Yeah, I need a new engine, but hey, for what I got it for, I picked up 3 other machines for parts. They're out behind the building under a tarp right now. One of them has a good engine on it. The guy was using it mowing his yard. And the machine is not in that good a shape. So when I get this rebuilt, I'm going to put that engine on this machine, and I got an idea what I might use it for. I got to check with someone first. I'm going to drive up and check with them tomorrow and see what's going on. But I'm not going to. I guess I won't say anything right now. I'll wait until I find out what's really going on up there, and then I'll let you in on it. So again, until next time, until I get some hours on this press, so far, I don't believe I'm going to say this. So far, it doesn't seem to be too bad. I'll tell you, it's a whole lot better right out of the box before I did anything to it than that Dake press is. The Dake press I took back, what a piece of junk that was. I just couldn't believe it for the amount of money. That was $555 for that thing. This was $125. This, right out of the box, was 10 times as good as that other one. I'm not saying this is perfect by any stretch of the mind, but it works. It has some other issues that I'll let you in on down the road, but as far as the performance of it and how it's going to work, them issues aren't really that bad. Once I did bolt it down to a piece of 1-inch thick particle board, and I put some casters on it. So now I can roll it around the shop and get it out of my way when I'm not using it, or get it over closer to the job where I am working. But we'll see. I don't think it's that bad, actually. I can't believe it. This company must have a little better quality control standards than the other one did. I just wish they would have packed it a little better. A lot of stuff is beat up from shipping. And would have been nice if they would have painted it blue. But hey, you can't have everything. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long.